Welcome back to Caelesti. In today's episode 6, it's going to be the return of the leaves. But that's the last thing we're going to go over. So first of all, we have name tags. Some of you will know in Caelesti already, if you take a name tag and give it literally any name, say Freed, then it will have a new texture. And I'm actually going to do this one at a time so we can just showcase it. And you can see there we have Freed. Now, the logic behind this is, I like the idea that, CIT is a very exclusive feature in Optifine. It effectively allows you to change the texture of items based on name, enchantment, and even durability as well. Now, a lot of people use this to do things like putting a diamond sword in an anvil, rename it to things like Flame Sword or Void Sword, and it gets a new amazing texture. And as much as that's really cool, and I really like that, obviously I'm starting to get a little bit more into data packs at the moment, and I see a lot more value in adding things like that through data, as opposed to simply just putting an item in an anvil and renaming it. Because you can make a really cool workaround for it, which doesn't involve this, which is, in my opinion, kind of trashy. Like, I don't like using that. But the only thing that is good for an anvil is something that you are supposed to rename. Now, you can rename tools. You can rename anything you want, but you are supposed to rename name tags. That's kind of the whole point of them. So what if you rename a name tag and it gets the writing on it? If I can just do this again, it looks like I've written the name on it, like it was blank beforehand, and now it's got the writing on it. It's pretty cool. Now, some of you will know there are actually quite a lot of like Easter egg things in the game involving name tags. Two of which of those are Dinnerbone and also Grum. Now, this was actually a recommendation from Chroma, so thank you very much for the recommendation, Chroma. It was a very, very good idea, and again, a very good use of CIT, in my opinion, as well. Let's just use the Easter eggs, because there's a few Easter eggs involved with name tags that I really like, and a lot of players do use and find quite funny and enjoy or whatever. So why not kind of translate those over to the CIT properties? So from now on, if you ever name a name tag Dinnerbone or Grum, which are the two things to flip animals or mobs or whatever upside down, then they will actually appear upside down in the inventory as well. Just a kind of like neat little reference to that. And this does go one step further as well. As you can see, if we name an entity Jeb, we will actually now get the rainbow cycled name tag as well. Some of you will know the Jeb_ name tag. If you put it on a sheep, the sheep will cycle through all different 16 colors of the wool. Now, this cycle animation is in the same order as the sheep color, but it's not the same speed, and it doesn't sync up, unfortunately, because the game actually uses an internal system to change the sheep color as opposed to an animated texture. So I can't sync this up with the sheep's texture, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. It works as it is. And finally, not finally, we have two more actually. Another one that we have is Toast. A lot of you will know that if you get a bunny and name it Toast, it will get this kind of black and white color as well. Now, I don't like that. I think it's kind of shit. Like, why would an entity's texture just completely change for a name? Like, I get it. I get you want to do that, but also I don't like that because it seems kind of crap, Like, a mob just magically changes texture because you've given it a different name. Nah, like, this is just dumb. This is not supposed to be a logical thing, right? This is just funny, and this is obviously just supposed to be like an Easter egg. It's not supposed to be something that's logical. I mean, if you shear this sheep, it will drop its original color, not the color that the rainbow is currently on. But this is just a rabbit. Like, there's nothing special about this. There's nothing like funny about this. There's nothing Easter egg about this. It's just someone wanted to have their rabbit in the game, and I get it. Rest in peace, real life Toast. But also, this is dumb. Like, this doesn't make any sense. But it's in the game, and we can't change it, so there you go. Toast will now produce a Toast CIT thing. And you may have heard him back there. We also have a single last one as well. I'm probably going to get the spelling wrong. There it is, Johnny. Johnny's pretty cool. I couldn't really... I was having trouble deciding which texture to go with for Johnny. Someone recommended the idea of dipping the main name tag in blood. I liked that. So I've gone with that now. I might change the texture still because I think it's a little bit rubbish. But I couldn't really think of anything. So there we go. So we have upside down, rainbow, black and white, and we have the blood-stained name tag for our friend Johnny here. Johnny is pretty neat. Like, Johnny will go around and slaughter bunny rabbits because he's a dick. It's usually pretty good. I set the time too high on that thing, didn't I? Yeah. I think I meant to have it running the whole time, but, like, forgot. Also, is it not moving? I feel like it's not moving. What? How are rabbits spawning? It's not moving. What? What is happening here? Oh, it is moving. But what? That was weird. Why was it still spawning rabbits when it wasn't flipping? I have no idea. Anyway. Yeah, Johnny. So if any of you don't know, if you name a Vindicator Johnny, he will just slaughter everything in sight, which is pretty cool. Obviously a reference to Here's Johnny from, what is it? It's one of my favorite horror films, I should know it. Oh, The Shining. The Shining, yes, of course. Yeah, well, a reference to the Shining film. One of, in my opinion, the best made horror films of all time. As again, it's a perfect example of how terror is better than horror. And in the film, there's a guy, and he busts through a door with an axe and screams, "Here's Johnny!" And it's supposed to be pretty scary. It's kind of funny, really, in retrospect, because he just pulls a dumb face, and it's a big meme. But it is supposed to be really scary, and if you're like really into the movie, then it is kind of immersive, terrifying. But it's not that scary. So for all you kiddies who watch the channel, because I know you do, I know you lie about your age, if you want to go see a horror movie that involves this Easter egg from your beloved game, it's not that bad, so don't worry. There are some creepy, gory scenes, though, with, like, naked old women that are kind of, like, crumpling down and decomposing. It's very weird. It's a very weird film, but it's good. I sound really weird now, don't I? Trust me. Anyway, Johnny, there you go. Johnny has a name tag. Cool. Moving onwards, we have door textures. Now, this is an interesting one. I'm sure none of you are really expecting this one, but we have new textures for doors involving the oak door, birch door, jungle door, and the iron door. Now, in previous versions of Skur, I actually changed a few of these previously. So, in previous versions of Skur, I changed these previously. In Skur, I also changed the textures for the doors. There you go, I did the whole thing without using the word previously. Now, the iron door has a very similar treatment. I like the idea of the iron door being like a blast door, like a reinforced door. So, of course, it has no door handle because you can't open doors. You know, you can open regular doors, hence why they have a door handle, but you can't open iron doors. So why would they have a door handle? They don't. They don't have a door handle because that doesn't make any sense. Even the texture doesn't have a door handle. Like, I've updated the texture to fit the new texture, but even the original item texture for the iron door doesn't have a door handle, whereas, you know, door handle, door handle, door handle, door handle, you get the idea. So why did the door have a door handle in real life? Because you can't open it. It doesn't open. It only opens with redstone, so why would it have a door handle? Anyway, and obviously the hole that you have here on the top of the door is like a minimal little slit through like that, which is supposed to be like a tiny, tiny way of seeing through the door, almost like kind of like a prison cell door. You know when you have like those TV shows, you know, someone's been held up in like a police, not like a prison, but like like the mini prison they have at like a police station where they have like a holding cell, and they have like this tiny door, like tiny, tiny, tiny slit in the door where they can just kind of like poke their eyes through and be like, "Yo, shut the fuck up." And that's kind of what this door is for. So obviously we then have the wooden door. Now, the only problem I really have with the wooden door is that it's similar to the iron door. For some reason, as long as Minecraft has existed, again, they are so inconsistent with everything they do. It really annoys me, but here they are. Mojang are the rich boys, and we're just the, lowly scum making something of their mess. So, yeah. But, obviously, for a time, iron doors and wooden doors, well, look at me go. Iron doors and oak doors were the only doors in Minecraft. So it made sense that they shared the exact same texture. So they had this very, very simple texture of, like, 6 kind of, like, blocks in the middle like that, and then 4 blocks cut out for the windows at the top. So it was 10 blocks in total. Top 4 were cut out to be windows, bottom 6 were kind of like an indent to add texture to the door. Now, when the iron door was added, it was the exact same texture, but in silver. So, like, it was just the same. It's just the same texture, but slightly different coloration. That made sense because that was just the texture for a door in Minecraft. There was no such thing as alternate doors. That was just the door texture. So it was fine for them to both be the same. Then they added all the other 5 door textures, and they had a unique door for spruce, and a unique door for birch, and a unique door for jungle, and acacia, and dark oak. And then it pissed me off that we had 6 unique doors, but oak and iron shared the same texture. Why? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? So obviously in my texture packs, I've always made it my effort to kind of, make them individual once again. So we have a unique texture for the iron door with these 2 longer slats at the bottom and these 4 kind of like little mini windows here with the, classic window cross shape. And that's just trying to make it look as different as possible to the iron door, which now has the kind of like blast plate reinforcement type texture with the tiny window at the top. And I think it does look really good. Obviously as well, we have the birch door and the jungle door. Now, once again, the jungle door is kind of a very simple change, similar to Skur. Penis door is gone. That's kind of the whole point of that one. And obviously the birch door now just has this kind of longer texture for the, I guess, paper bit in the middle. I actually got the inspiration from this from seeing, I believe, one of Ninny's packs, I think it was, or someone else on the pack creators Onion anyway. But basically, I have this group on Discord where a bunch of talented people show off their work, and one of them showed this idea for a long birch door bit, and I think it looks really good, and I think it looks especially good when you have them together like that. I think that looks really, really nice. I think it looks like that would fit in like any situation. Like I can see myself building like a dojo with like paper walls or something. I think that would look really cool. So yeah, so that's it for the new doors. Obviously, all of the item textures have been updated to match as well. And moving on from that, we have the trapdoors as well. Now, once again, same treatment as with the oak door and the iron door. I've given the oak trapdoor and the iron trapdoor 2 unique textures. And again, my goal with these is to try and make all of the textures as kind of like versatile as possible so that you can actually use them in building situations. So as you can see here, the jungle trapdoor is a kind of entirely new texture. Previously, this was like 2 half circles with bars running in between them with an uneven center. It was very strange. It's very dumb. I can't really see how anyone would ever use that in building, to be honest. So now we just have this kind of like simple, large, singular hole in the middle of the trapdoor, which I think looks really good. It obviously kind of is logical because you could never fit through there. It kind of annoys me that like a parrot could sit on top of this and it would look dumb because the parrot should fall through. But that's not my problem, you know? Minecraft needs better hitboxes at the end of the day. But this is really cool, actually, if we get like a redstone lamp as well. Let me show you what I would... This is what I would use this for, anyway. If I get like a wall... right, so we've got stone brick wall, we've got a daylight sensor, and we've got this. Okay, so we've got stone brick wall, this thing, this thing. You can reverse that now, can't you? Yeah, you can reverse that now. I remember when that wasn't a thing. That was awful. And then we do this, this, and this. Look at that. I think that looks neat. Look at that. I think it looks really cool. It looks like the circle bit of the lamp is like a texture inside of the lamppost. And then like when it goes nighttime, if we do like time set 13,000, it's gonna flicker. Oh, we have a command block somewhere. Never mind. But it would flicker on at night, and it would look really cool. You know, I think that would look really nice. So I think this is kind of like this is what I do these texture changes for. The idea is I don't think this texture is very easy to work with in vanilla Minecraft, and I want to make it more versatile and more integrated into building to kind of make the pack more attractive to people who like doing building. And that's the whole point of this texture. I think it looks much cooler. And for me personally, the only time I would ever put trapdoors in like builds is if I'm doing lampposts. And I think for this specific use, it actually looks really, really good. And I would definitely use this. I think it looks really nice. Moving on from that, we have a few updates and texture changes and fixes and everything else. First of all, a general rule of thumb, all the models in the pack have been hugely updated. I've removed all of the missing texture lines, which basically means that the game has to render a hell of a lot less faces that don't even have any textures to them. Now, the way this works is every single texture that we have has a certain level of inefficiency. For example, with the jukebox here, let me just give you a demonstration. Now, the way that this jukebox texture actually works is it's one large cube at the bottom, which has the top part is this kind of inner circle bit. So it's kind of like a 16 by 16 by 13 cube. And then the top kind of like 4 panels here are, you know, like individual rectangles of their own. That's just the way it works. If we go inside here, you can see the rectangles actually have like texture on the inside where you would never even be able to see it like there as well. And that is kind of an inefficiency. Now, there's no point of changing that because we have to render this entire face anyway. But there are a lot of places in the model, especially where it has a record in, where like an underside face that you would never see in game is still being rendered even though it has no texture. And that's bad for the game. That's inefficient. So what I've done is I've essentially just gone through every single model texture we've made so far and removed every line where the texture is, you know, missing, as it's called. And what that means is every texture that we have is just now more efficient. The models are better, they work nicer, everything's just improved basically. So all the models have been improved. I also realize now that with ladders, originally I put a ladder against a barrier block as I like to do to showcase the model. And I thought no one can ever see the back of a ladder because it's a ladder. So I made the texture just simply, you know, bland and shit. And because with the mindset, no one will ever see this, so it doesn't need to be fancy. I then realized you can place ladder on glass. And as much as this looks crap, someone's going to do it. Someone's going to place a ladder on glass, aren't they? So I had to fix the back of the texture. So now the back of the texture has like a slight texture coloration which matches the rest of the texture, and it just kind of lends itself to the rest of the ladder texture. So there we go. Yeah, other than that, we have a few other cool changes. I'm kidding. These are the cool changes now. Okay, so first of all, glass CTM is finished. I think it looks amazing. I think it looks really, really nice. I'm really, really happy with this. In previous versions of Skr, I had this kind of wonky, wacky glass texture, which had a kind of like incomplete dot-dashy edge texture and nothing in the center. Now, taking into consideration the new texture that was added in 1.14, yes. Was it 1.14? Yeah, 1.14, we have this new texture for glass, which is very, very clear. I actually really like this glass texture. I think it's a massive improvement on the old glass texture by miles. The fact that it has this kind of like consistent edge like this and then the 2 tiny streaks in the corners as opposed to like massive streaks going across the entire block. I think it looks much better. Now, I could have very easily removed the streaks and made this literally just the quite clear glass from Tinker's Construct, as some of you may know. But I really like the streaks and I want to keep that kind of vanilla style while also making the glass much better to build with and much better to use. So I did exactly that. I've remade the entire glass CTM completely. and kept the streaks in the corners in every single situation. So every time you have any format of this glass, if there is a corner on what is effectively the top left side or the bottom right side, you will have the streaks like that, and I think it looks really, really good. Another example, I used it in a post on Instagram, actually, because I actually have an Instagram account now, would you believe it, inspired by Stridey MC. Yeah, so if you're watching Stridey, thank you, you inspired me to get Instagram. I have like 10 followers, so it's working, yay, great. It's not. So yeah, we have like an example here of how you'd actually use this glass, and I think it looks really, really good, because what it is, it's effectively just an extension of the original glass texture, which is what I believe CTM should be, because it makes sense that way. So obviously here we have the original glass texture. Any face of the glass is just this kind of like complete box shape with the streaks on the bottom and top corners like that. Now, if you were to extend the glass shape, in theory, the glass would all still look like the same kind of piece of glass. There wouldn't be any seams here. So my logic basically is that if you have a longer piece of glass like this, obviously the immersion breaks when you just break the glass and it deadass just like has no edges and stuff, but you get the point. But like if you actually use the glass properly in situations like this, the glass wouldn't be full of streaks and splits and merges. In theory, if you were building correctly, the glass would actually make sense like this, and it would have the streaks in the bottom and top corners, and it would look really good, and I think that looks really nice. So yeah, once again, this is an example of me taking features from Skur and making them my own. I originally kind of like stole the .properties files for the glass, or kind of took them from another pack for inspiration, or just took them because they worked and then copied the files and replaced the textures. These have been made from the ground up, so every single texture has been made unique. The properties files are proper. They no longer have like split up weird dimensions and even credit to original creators in them anymore, which was so trashy, holy shit. But once again, this is an example of how Caelesti is no longer a compilation pack. It is entirely original content made by me, which I'm so happy with. And this, of course, stretches over to the colored glass as well. Now, this is the exact same texture from Skur. It is very simply just a quite clear glass with a kind of similarly translucent edge like that as well. But the only difference is I have now updated it so that the panes are actually working correctly. Now, in Skur, all of the glass panes, whether it be the regular glass or the colored glass, had a kind of messy, grainy texture on the top for the glass panes. And I don't know if I just never noticed it or didn't care, or just thought that no one would ever build glass panes out of that specific scenario that you see there, because I'm a very crap builder and don't really get the use of things like glass panes in, I don't know, things like smoke chains or like I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know how you build with glass planes. I don't know how you build anything. I'm crap at this game. I only just like making textures and mods and stuff. But yeah, as you can see here, all of the tops of the glass look kind of clear. They actually match the outline of the rest of the glass. Like this kind of like slightly darker but still translucent texture just carries onto the top. And I think it looks really good. It looks much better than it did before. So it's a very, very simple change. But for me, it's 1% more perfection in this pack. And I love that. And I think it looks really, really good. So all of the exact same stained glass textures from Skur. We have a brand spanking new glass texture that fits 1.14's Japa texture style, which I really, really like and will definitely be making use of in the future. And we have an updated top for all of the glass panes, which looks really nice as well. Now, moving on from that, we have a few updated models. I'm kidding, this is like really important information. I've left all the important stuff to the end, and now I'm kind of like burned out of recording and my voice is dying. Leaves are back. You may have noticed something in this episode. I haven't been lagging. Previously, when we had these leaves installed, I could not place or break blocks or load a world or look around or do anything without getting extreme stuttering lag. Yeah, so when I told you before about the model fix-up with the ladders and the jukebox and everything before, that also included the leaf models. Now, I added these a few updates ago. Well, it wasn't a few, it was 2 updates ago. It was beta 11. It was 0.11. And they kind of were crap. They were really, really badly optimized, and I was really annoyed, and I was really excited to adding this feature because it was another aspect that would make Caelesti kind of really stand out as a really cool pack with my own unique flair on this kind of really common model thing that a lot of people have done with, mods and resource packs alike. But it didn't work. It was really laggy, and I ended up eventually kind of opting to remove them because I just didn't want to have something in my pack that effectively didn't work. Now, I look back at things again, and I realized that a lot of people have also done this thing. So, as we are all learning, I went ahead and downloaded someone else's texture pack. It was actually Ultima Craft, recommended by Zoe, so thank you for showing me that one. It was very, very big help in getting this to work properly. But I downloaded that pack, I had a look at the model files, and that was when I had the realization of the missing texture line and how much more efficient it would actually make the pack. So thank you very much to Zoe. You've effectively just fixed leaves indirectly by showing me something that worked better. So yeah, I still really like these textures, and I'm really glad that we can have them in the pack. Now, there are a few changes. Every single one of the leaves only ever spawns 50% of the time. So as you can see here, if I go ahead and place down some leaves, some jungle leaves, you can see this is a regular one, regular one, regular one, regular one, and now we have a special one. It's 50%, trust me. It's 50%. But we have special one, regular, special, special, regular, special. Now, this looks kind of weird, but all of the leaves do have an element of random variation already, and this also contributes to the lag. I can't remember who recommended this, but someone recommended it in the Discord originally when this issue wasn't working to start with. They just said, why don't you just decrease the number of model blocks for head? And I was like, oh, that's actually not a bad idea. So I just made it a random block variant that 50% of the time the game will just spawn the default one, and 50% of the time it will spawn the special one. And that does exactly what you'd expect. It effectively increases performance by 50%, which is a huge increase. So these do contribute towards lag a little bit still. If you have a potato computer, you still might want to not use these. I might do a tutorial for how to manually uninstall them, but they're actually working well enough now that I'm perfectly happy just having them in the pack as a feature, because I do think they look really, really nice. Of course, all of the block textures are back. We have all the correct textures working in the inventory. All of the new color map features do work correctly across them as well, and I've even updated the spruce model to look a bit better, using diagonals now instead of the 90-degree angles that it did before, and again, I think it looks much, much better than it did before as well. So yeah, leaves are back, baby. I think they look really, really good. There is one other change to the pack, which is worth noting as well. I might pop some screenshots on the screen right now, but essentially a single biome which spawns oak trees and spruce trees, I believe it's just called Wooded Mountains, and also 3 other biomes that don't spawn any trees but have been included in this feature as well, now have these kind of beautiful, kind of vivid red oak trees and really light, kind of like minty lime green grass as well. And this is kind of inspired by the Akala region in Breath of the Wild. I was looking at some pictures of Breath of the Wild yesterday just because, you know, hype for Breath of the Wild 2, obviously. And I was just kind of realizing, I was thinking to myself, Akala looks really pretty. You know, there are some really, really pretty regions in Breath of the Wild. Obviously, a lot of my work is already inspired by Zelda-related content. A lot of the data pack stuff, I mean, the Blood Moon update is inspired by Zelda. A lot of the other things I've added, like gameplay tweaks and stuff, is in, you know, cauldron boiling, all inspired by Zelda. So I figured, why not take some more inspiration from Zelda and add these trees? And I think it looks really, really good. So yes, that's kind of the final thing worth mentioning, is just that we have these new colored trees in wooded mountain biomes, and also 3 others as well. But, you know, trees don't spawn in the 3 other biomes. It's just kind of like, if you end up building there, then they will look nice. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. Obviously, this update is available on my Discord server as always. We are going to be transitioning to CurseForge very soon, because I'm planning on adding some sound files in a future update. But next time, you can probably look forward to some more model creation. Obviously, we added all the door textures this time. The door textures were in preparation for making proper models for all the doors. So we'll probably be getting to those very, very soon. So yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This has been Caelesti, and I hope you enjoy. I started saying it there, but I didn't finish because I'm very distracted as always. But if you want to download this pack, it is always available in my Discord server. If you simply go to the announcements channel, it will obviously show this video, because I will have posted this as a notification to my Discord group. But you can also download Caelesti 0.13 from the announcements channel now as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you in the next Caelesti update. The next few update videos are going to include some more Caelesti, but also some Blood Moon stuff as well, as we are starting to get really, really into the thick of it with the Blood Moon coding. I did a stream of the Blood Moon stuff the other day, but unfortunately there was an issue and I had to take it down. So that was a shame. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I'm saying sorry, but I know no one gives a shit about watching me stream coding for like 3 hours straight. But yeah, obviously the Blood Moon stuff is almost finished, and we have all the textures done now. We have some sounds recorded. We have some new stuff kind of theorized and already implemented. And I have at least one person who's definitely looking forward to download SBS v2.1 to be used on a server. So that's really cool as well. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little update for Caelesti. I certainly did. This has been one of my favorite updates in a while. We've fixed so much stuff. We've added so much more cool stuff. We've done so many cool textures and implemented so many cool Optifine features. And as usual, I'm rambling, and we're almost going to hit 25 minutes. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Have a very nice day. And hopefully I actually remembered to update the screenshots that I said about before, because I probably just didn't add them and I'm just rambling to myself while staring at blank space. Okay, bye.